go ahead and put everything back into them. Slide them to the front of the table, kind of forget about them for right now. I'll give you plenty of time over the next couple of days to work on those. They're kind of the least important thing to me other than those Florida Department of Law Enforcement fingerprint cards, which again, by state regulations, I have to have in by a certain period of time. So let me start out. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. No. See, I was louder than you, and there's 16 of you and one of me. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Just a little bit. You guys have to keep me just as motivated as I have to keep you this morning. I don't know all of you, so just a little introduction of myself. Thomas Karlick. I'm the National Training and Hiring Manager for Absolute Security Incorporated. Some of you guys are looking at me like I have shoes older than this kid. How did he end up in that position? I came straight out of the military into an entry-level sales position with Absolute Security Incorporated when there was about 25 employees total in the company, 2 offices in the country, and I've just been able to take advantage of the opportunity that was presented to me here at Absolute Security to where I'm at today. Just a little of my success story. When I first came into this business, Pat Shalkowski, who is now our Vice President and outside sales for the whole country, he's 31 years old, made about $304,000 last year. Real, great success story. Kind of took me under his wing and guided me. My first month in this business, I was looking to make some money. I don't know about anybody else, but when I got here, I had a stack of bills like this. My income was somewhere down here. I had just got out of the military. I had a 5-year-old daughter at the time that needed to be taken care of, and I needed to figure out a way to equal those averages out because it was not making sense in my head at that moment. So my first month in this business, again, I was in sales. We've grown since then to open up 11 different departments that have open opportunities for people. I went out and secured 36 families my first month in the business. 32 of those were installed that calendar month. That made me have a gross income my first month in this business of $14,000 with a $3,000 bonus on the backside. So $17,000 my first month in the business. Opportunity like that is still around for those of you who grab onto it. Can anybody use $17,000 right now? Anybody in here? If not, you're in the wrong place because I'm not in the business of making people poor. In saying that, guys, some of the things that I was looking for when I got here, I had first come directly from the military, so obviously I was pretty proud of what I did. And it's one of those things that I still feel I do some of the same things today in making sure that bad things don't happen to good people. Now, I was a Marine Corps Scout Sniper, which was my military occupational specialty, with 3 tours in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan, and a Bronze Star with a V for Valor Under Fire. I was pretty good at what I did, and I was pretty intense. And I still bring that same intensity in everything that I do today. My business, my job for this company is to ensure the success of people once they're here. So feel free that you're in good hands, to know that you're in good hands, and we'll go from there. Starting out, it's one of those things that I was coming into a new industry, needed to learn some things. As coming in straight out of the Marine Corps off a couple tours overseas, I was not the nicest person in the world. I did not have a people personality. I was very technical. But something that I needed to see was certain career ingredients. Anybody in here come for a job today? We got any job hunters in here? Jobs? Okay. If you guys came for jobs, I need you to do me a favor. Go out that door, jump in your car, make a right out of the parking lot, and then a left. You're going to end up on Wickham. Drive about a mile down. There's these big golden arches. They're hiring for jobs, guys. Just over broke is not a place that I ever want to be again. And actually, most of my friends still have jobs or jubs just under broke. So when I got here, I needed to see some career opportunity stuff. I needed to see some career ingredients. And I found them here at Absolute Security. Starting number 1 with a reputable company. When you guys saw Absolute Security Incorporated, which is us, you may have said, who are they? What do they do? But then you saw the name ADT in your interview, probably started feeling a little bit more comfortable. Second most recognizable franchise symbol in the world is that ADT stop sign. We love having it stand behind us. Our parent company's been around for over 130 years. Secures over 35 million people worldwide. And we'll get into some more of these facts later. But the first thing that I knew is that if this was Bob's Alarm Company, and they were doing like 300 alarms a year, I probably wouldn't have stuck around too long. But rest assured, we are we're the 3rd largest dealership of ADT products and services in the country. Over 100,000 contracts every year. And in saying that, the only reason we are not number 1 in the country right now is because we're not in as many places as number 1 and number 2 are. Per capita, we do double the business that they do, and we'll continue to grow from there, and that's where you guys come in. Make no mistake about it, that's, as far as I'm concerned, you're the most important people that are in this room right now, and will continue to be that way for me and the senior sales managers in this office as you go through your training, understanding the basis of life protection systems provided through ADT. Whether you end up on a phone with us answering customer service calls, you end up in a sales position inside or outside, you end up processing contracts, there's certain knowledge each one of you guys would have to know to be able to identify problems as well as risk factors for our customers and also how to solve them. Customer service, whether you guys know it or not, is the biggest sales industry in the country, and really good companies generate a lot of their revenue off when a customer calls and they have a problem. Usually, what is the solution? More money being spent because something was initially not included in a package. So it's something where a base of knowledge, a foundation, is what everyone will grow upon here. So definitely have the reputable company. ADT spends over $20 million a year on advertising. Has anybody ever seen an ADT commercial? Got the cool numbers on the walls. Anybody seen the new Pulse ones where you can watch your kids on your iPhone? I have a similar system in my house. It's applicable to the BlackBerry system. It's actually motion detector cameras outside of my house. Takes snapshots of the front, the back, and the side of my house. If anybody walks in front of them. Now, I live by myself. I'm a bachelor. My daughter lives with my ex-wife up in Pennsylvania. Can anybody guess why I have that much security in my house? It's a little furry animal that weighs about 55 pounds. Her name's Button. It's my dog. She's right up there with my daughter, and I pay a dog walker to go and walk my dog 2 hours a day, and when I'm away on business, she takes care of the dog. And I wanted to make sure that my dog was getting walked an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening because I'm a little bit cheap to begin with, right? So I invested that money because every time she comes to walk the dog, it takes a snapshot, text messages it to my cell phone, and it has a timestamp on it. So 53 minutes is just not enough for Button to be at the dog park. He needs to be 60 minutes exactly, or you're not getting paid for all 60. So I always say it's not necessary. We don't get paid for the hour that we work. We get paid for what we bring to that hour. So keep that in mind, guys. I'm going to jump into the next three here when we talk about career ingredients. They all kind of tag together for me. Size of industry, projected growth, and need for product. First off, size of industry. Whether you guys know it or not, the residential security market is one of the most profitable industries in the country. Reason being is that only 20% of it is tapped right now. So if only 20% of the residential security market is tapped, what does that leave? 80% growth, which is where you guys come in at. So, anybody wish they would have invested in a little company called Facebook about 5 years ago? Right? Anybody wish they would have went to Mark Zuckerberg and said, bro, I got $1,000 right now, and I want to invest in your company. Steve's like, yeah, sign me up. You'd be a multimillionaire right now. And now I'm not a multimillionaire, but when I did the math when I got out of the military, it was something that I was going to have to do if I wanted to make a six-figure income. Does anybody know what that thing is? Most people would think that you would need to do what? School. Does anybody like school in here? I mean, I like learning, but I don't necessarily like school. And 12 years of school to make $100,000 a year was not adding up in my head at 24 years old with the amount of student loans and debt I would have had. So I saw the opportunity, kind of jumped into it, saw Pat Shalkowski making about 90 grand a year then at about 27 years old, and something that I kind of jumped in his back pocket and followed. So the size of the industry is out there along with the projected growth of over 80% in the next 5 years. Now, let's talk about need for product. The security industry is real interesting in the fact that it's something that we're always going to need. We're all in agreement there. It's also something that is always growing. Reason being, if the economy is really good, what happens? 2006 this happened. I was in Northern Virginia for it. I made a whole lot of money. We built a lot of what? Houses. The housing market was popping. I was talking to some of you guys who've been in real estate. I know Jay-Z over here was in real estate at the time. One of those things where houses were flying off the market, right? If you can't keep a house on the market for more than 24 hours, there's a lot of construction. People get concerned. When you buy a new house, you're what? Excited. You go out and you get the lawn care treatment, you get the pest control, even though you can't afford any of it. You build a fence, you build a deck, you do all that stuff. And a lot of times that was prompted by maybe a family change. There was a baby that was born, you got married. And because of that, people look for alarms during those points. Now, as my career continued, the economy did what? Now you can't get a house off the market. You gotta sell it for $5. I'm actually purchasing a couple of condos beachside that were selling for $80,000, $90,000 5 years ago, and I'm gonna pick a couple of them up for about 20 grand cash offers, turn them into rental properties. If anybody needs a place to live, see me after we're done. Anyways, I have my little plug right there. So, anyways, need for product as the economy dropped, crime did what? Went up. So we didn't see a loss in business, we saw a shift in business into more established people and continue to grow even more. Whether you know it or not, last year was ADT's best year in business in over 135 years of service. One of those reasons is because, has anybody heard of a little tiny company called Brinks before? Yeah. Brinks Broadview, they had some internal conflict. You know who owns Brinks now?
ADT?
ADT does. So something where we picked up 700,000 customers there, some great business. It actually made me a little upset because I used to love turning Brinks accounts, people that had older Brinks systems, and we do the wireless upgrades and then be able to sign them up. I can't do it anymore because it's like me stealing from the company that takes my paycheck, writes my paycheck. So something that with that growth, we saw a lot of business, a lot more offices open. Just to give you guys an idea of that, those three put together, I have 6 offices in Florida. We service the whole state. Is Florida a small state? No, it's a big state. So I'm looking to open new offices, looking for people to directly step up. If you guys think I have enough sales managers to service all of you guys, I do not. So some of you will be rapidly promoted. We do have plans for a lot of you guys to end up in different positions throughout the company. So work on the foundation, and from there you can build some pretty solid walls that won't come down when the hurricane winds start blowing. So competitive pricing. When you think ADT, in general, the public thinks ADT, they usually think it's what? Expensive. Okay? So because it's the oldest, largest security company in the world. That doesn't necessarily make you the best. Now we'll claim to be the best because we secure the White House, Pentagon, 90% of Fortune 500 companies. I mean, we'll stand behind that all day long. But when you start talking about competitive pricing, one thing you'll hear me say a lot is let's compare apples to apples, not apples to bananas. Reason being is when you look at the difference in equipment between an ADT system and any other system that's out there, some of the smaller companies, you guys may have heard of some of them, Vector, SafeWatch, Trinity, Pinnacle, Schloman's down here, a bunch of different security companies out there. Our equipment is all fairly the same. It's our monitoring that's different. Whereas with most local companies, most smaller non-nationwide companies, you're monitored by one location. Does anybody here have an alarm? No. Great, you guys are all getting set up one before you leave today. I'm messing with you. But anyways, if you're monitored by one place in the country, let's say you have a local station and your alarm system's in Florida and you're monitored by a local station here in Florida, and a hurricane comes and everybody loses power. Do you think you still have security? Hopefully you still have a house to secure, but the point is you wouldn't have security. Does your monthly bill still do? Absolutely. So let's talk about a real sense of security versus a false sense of security. And in saying that, when we talk about competitive pricing, ADT generally has a monitoring rate that's within $1 or $2 difference a month from every other company. So break that down into days. Most people can usually afford an extra 3 to 5 cents a day, right? So it generally makes sense that with the best security company in the world, when it's presented correctly, somebody's always going to go with us. All right. Income opportunity. I'm going to get into this more later, but the biggest thing that caught my eye when I got here was this word right here, opportunity. Because plenty of jobs have this, but they don't have that, right? They've got income. We're going to pay you this amount for this amount of time, and if you do this, maybe we'll give you a 30% raise. I was not okay with that. I was from the military where it's one of those things where, I hate being stuck in a place where somebody's got to die or get fired for me to get promoted. It's not a good spot to be in, and it doesn't matter whether you're in the military. So if you hang around in the military long enough, you're going to end up high ranking, right? But it's something where, although as a private first class, I may have been twice as good as my squad leader at everything I did, I had to pay my dues and put in my time and meet the requirements. Here, I look for people that are ready to jump forward, that have the skills I'm looking for, lay a foundation, and get you guys rocking and rolling in your career. I've been here 6 years. I started in an entry-level sales position, and I report directly to the owners. I get to travel around the country, passing along the skills that I've been so freely given. And I truly believe that reciprocally we get back whatever we put into. So one of those things where you guys, I'll give you 110% and only ask for 110% back. It's a real good thing. Works out. So income opportunity, I'll talk about it more later, but astronomical. I mean, I don't have a college degree. Actually, I have a GED, good enough. My third year here, I broke 6 figures and have never looked back. So that kind of tells you growth potential. My best friend, Dave Staub, he's 24 years old. He's the district manager in our Woodbridge office. Been with the company for 3 years. He's a Virginia Military Institute graduate. For those of you guys who don't know, it's one of the most prestigious military schools in the country. Graduated a psychology degree. Denied his commission to go back in the Marine Corps as a Marine Corps officer, which was his dream. Most people told him he was absolutely insane. He said, well, I see my buddy Tom Karlick making $100 grand a year doing what he does, working 9 to 5. Busting his hump, getting to fly around, passing gifts along to people. I'm going to try that. He's 24 years old and made $97,000 this year. He's one of our top producing managers in the country. He's on track. August is an exciting time for our business. We always try to, it's called a push month. We always try to make it our best month in business. We've got a running contest that we put up, and I'll get more into this later, but I'm going to kind of just tell you guys about it now since I'm on the topic of Dave Staub. There's 3 people in our business that have ever qualified for this contest. What it is during push month, anyone that can put 50 installations, 50 alarms in the ground, either over the phone or on sales appointments, or we do home shows where you put 50 installations into the ground. Wherever you're at in the company, whatever your office you're at, the owners of the company will fly there and put a $7,000 Rolex watch on your wrist. I do not have one. 42 is the closest I've ever come. Pat, that's kind of the one thing Pat has on me in this business. Whenever I start getting cocky and talk about beat you this month, Pat, we're gonna have huge classes in Florida. We're gonna get this business ramped up. All he does is ignorantly stare at his Rolex. Tom, what time is it? I think my Rolex is broken, right? Pat's actually done it twice, so he's got a diamond bezel on his because he didn't see the need for a second Rolex watch. Dave Staub is on track to do 77 this month. So it's only been done 3 times. Rob Farrow, Dave Staub, a young lady, Paula Murray, that we have working for us up in Fredericksburg, have all done it at least once. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing to do, believe me, it's not. But I know that my dad, he worked for an international hydraulic company for 30 years. When he retired, they gave him a Seiko and a Kool-Aid and a cookie party. I'm not going out like that. It's not happening, right? Advancement potential, guys. Another thing that really stuck out to me is in the military, there were certain set things I had to do to get promoted. We also have a system like that. It's called the, whoa, Springer, work on fixing that for me. It's called the Road to Success. Something different remote here. So it's called the Road to Success. It kind of guides you guys through things. Now, some of you, just because of the situation we're in right now, looking for managers, it's one of those things where we'll be promoting you guys and also getting you to other areas in the business. But advancement opportunity was, again, one of those things where I didn't want anybody to have to die or get fired. And also in the process of that, I wanted to see a way for me to climb the ladder. In the military, to give you guys an idea, to end up in the position that I was at, Detachment 1 is who I worked for. It's a JSOC SOCOM national asset. So I fell right into the tier with the SEALs, Delta, all those guys. And in saying that, I definitely had to climb a ladder fairly quickly. And the difference between a lot of you guys, whether you know it or not, 1% of human DNA is different. So you guys are 99.9% alike. As you bring that 1% to the table 100% of the time, you'll quickly advance with our company to kind of establish yourself in a career opportunity. Moving along, positive environments. Whether you guys caught on to it yet or not, I'm a little bit of a positive person. I try to bring some kind of positive light into whatever I do. I try to focus more on the solutions than the problems in life, and guess what? Generally they solve themselves. Now a lot of that has to do with money, because I know money doesn't solve every problem in life, guys. And a lot of people will say, you know, money's not the most important thing in life. And I'll say, I completely agree with you, but it's right up there with air and water. And next thing I usually say, Tom, you know, money's not everything, love is. And I'll say, thank God I love money. But anyway, back to positive environment. With a positive environment, it's a lot easier to work. I know we've all probably been in those jobs, me included, especially in the military, guys, where the guy next to you is going, man, this just stinks. I hate it here. I'm overworked. I'm underpaid. I don't want to be here. Is it real? Is that something that's going to generate growth for you? That's something that you're going to learn from? Absolutely not. We'll always ask. I'll never have any of my senior sales managers, any of my call center operations managers, any of the senior leadership of this company bring their problems in through that front door. Believe me, guys, I got plenty of problems. I'm not, wiped virgin clean here because I have found a way to make a good living. It's something that when I walk through my door, my dog greets me, my problems are right there waiting for me, but they'll never enter into this office. Reason being, I can deal with them while I'm out there, and as time goes by, it's moving one way or another, so I might as well make it, make a difference while I'm in that time. I always say you can make excuses or you can make money, you can't make both. So in saying that, we always want to make sure we have a positive attitude, positive environment, and looking for the solutions rather than just focusing on the problems. All right? Do I make a difference? Has anyone had a job in life that they were just like, man, I don't know if I can do another day of this because I'm just not making a difference in my life, and I'm surely not making a difference in anybody else's life. Right? That's something that I didn't need to worry about. I feel I made a pretty big difference in my career overseas as a Marine, and I feel like I make an even bigger difference now in what I do. One, in changing people's lives through career opportunities, and also two, in protecting homes and families. You know what the biggest difference between what I did when I was in the Marine Corps and what I do now is?
You don't kill people.
That too. That's a good one. But there's a main difference, and the main difference is that I get to see when I make a difference in someone's life. which is it was pretty gratifying. So I'll get into some more personal stories about that later on in training. And last but not least is training and marketing support, guys. A lot of companies out there will hand you a uniform and a job description, and they'll say, Steven, here's your uniform, here's your job description. We want you to go to work the next day, and we'll see you at 9 o'clock. And then you'll come into work, and they'll be doing something along this line. Your manager will be doing this. You'll be standing around doing nothing because they just handed you a job description and a uniform. And then here comes the manager. Steven, why aren't you doing your job? Right? There's no training. I can't tell you can make $100,000 a year and not show you how to do it. So we focused a whole lot on training and marketing support, and a couple different things there. Training is one of the most important things to this company, because if you don't invest into people, they're never going to invest in your business, and you're never going to grow. We do not want a business that's stagnant. It's the worst thing that you can have, because as it gets stagnant, what happens? It gets infected and it dies. Okay, so it's something we always want to continue to grow. Moving along, we're going to talk some more about that training and marketing support. We have hands down the best training and marketing support available in the industry. The reason I know this is because myself, in my position, I not only train this company, but we have nationally known companies seek us out to go and train their salespeople, their customer service representatives, everything hands down, stepping into businesses that are having problems, filling in the gaps, and figuring out what it is that needs to be done. So when we talk about training and marketing support, having the best, it's something that our track record and our success ratio with people coming into this business is what proves that hands down. We're going to show you how to protect homes and families and help assist the people that protect homes and families on a daily basis, and get you guys set up in training programs where you can retain the information fairly quickly, because I don't think anybody wants to wait the 12 years it's going to take you to go to college to make a good living. Anybody got that extra 12 years on their hands? If you do, I'll get you signed up for BCC tomorrow. Some of you guys are in college. I'm not knocking on you. It's something that education is awesome. I'm actually studying international business right now. Main reason because my mom said if I didn't get a degree, she was going to kill me. But anyway, so something that we'll always be working on. And then marketing support, with ADT spending over $20 million a year in advertising. And we've got ADT sports desks, we've got ADT race cars, we've got national commercials. Not to mention, that's ADT as a whole. Our offices do everything from generate every home show in every state we're in, to our national advertising campaigns. Everybody know the Valpak coupons? You get them, there's like 1 million coupons. You ever see the one that says free ADT system? Call the 800 number. That we'll be sending a sales rep out to see you. We have 7 different websites. So in saying that, has anybody ever been in sales before? Sold stuff? Okay. If you guys had $20 million plus your business, independently owned business, providing another $3 to $4 million in advertising a year, you think you might have been a little bit more successful with your product? Okay, and ADT as a whole, that name alone will sell itself, 1 in 3. It's a statistical fact. So it's something where we do kind of pride ourselves, and I love always knowing that I don't need to worry about someone knowing what it is that I'm selling. Just to give you guys an idea, anybody in here, we got any Kirby guys in here? Oh, no, we got a Kirby girl. Sorry, I did not sell Kirby's. I sold rainbow vacuums. They're $1,000 more. And most people don't even know what a rainbow vacuum is. So I definitely didn't have $20 million in marketing support. They only do word of mouth advertising. I was like 16 at the time, in people's homes pulling dirt out. Not real gratifying, guys. And I think that drove me into the military. I was like, no more of this. I need to go do something else. So anyway, spending over $20 million a year. That's a lot of support to have behind you. So you never need to worry about not having the notoriety of the name, that brand recognition. So if you even see any other security company signs out there, as you'll notice, you guys will leave today and start noticing them in people's neighborhoods, you'll notice they're almost always an octagon, a stop sign. Reason being that ADT's original signs were a stop sign. So it went from there. It's brand recognition, right? Does anybody know the difference between the Nike emblem in the 90s and the Nike emblem now? Anybody know? It's exactly the same. Okay? It's exactly the same. Hold on. There's one major difference. In the 90s, Nike was not known as well as it was. We knew what Nikes were. But if you look at the swoosh sign, it says Nike. Look at Nikes now. It doesn't have to say Nike anymore because they know what it is. Same thing with a blue stop sign. We could take the ADT right off it. People would still look at actually older signs because our systems are mostly in people's houses for 15 years. The ADT will be gone. You still know what's inside of that house. So it's great recognition there. All right. Last but not least, we have all the tools that you need to be successful. Anybody in here? Do I have any old car guys in here? Anybody like old cars or gals? Okay. I got like 1 or 2. I'm going to tell a story about a car anyways. because it's one of those things where having the tools is very important when you're dealing with cars. I recently rebuilt a '69 Chevy Nova from the ground up. I got it off Craigslist for $300. It was a 4-door Nova, which doesn't have any collector value. They're actually very hard to find because most of them have been crushed. You can do some cool things with a 4-door Nova, guys. People are getting pictures in their heads. Now, when I got it, I pulled up to the Craigslist guy. He's saying, you're going to have to tow it. There's no doubt in my mind, you're going to end up having to tow this thing out of here. You're never going to get it running. He was real mad when about 20 minutes later, it started right up. There was the seal was rotted in the carburetor, so it was sucking too much air. And I actually was one of those things where I went and I cut some cardboard up and just set it right in there. Fired right up, so I drove it off. Now, at this point, I pulled it in my garage in Pennsylvania where I'm from, my dad's garage. I start working on it, and what do I see? I see a lot of potential in this car. I see a vision inside of my head. But I need to start making project lists. I need to start making tools lists. I need to start collecting all of this stuff together so that I can get it to the point where I want it to get. So I pull the engine out, I send the body off for paint, cut out the old quarter panels, put in the new quarter panels. It comes back all painted up, house of colors, black with blue flake, white racing stripes over the top. The engine's rebuilt now, I drop it in. Now, I keep this straight 6 in it, guys, for those of you who know the difference, because anybody can make a small block 8 fast. But can you make a small block, can you make a straight 6 run as fast as a small block out? Did the Offenhauser exhaust manifold, 3 single barrel carbs, Clifford exhaust, true dual coming out the back. So it was just a beautiful car. Now, those of you that like modern cars a little bit, I've got a modern touch to me. So I Lambo'd out the front doors. I suicided out the back, dropped it just a little bit, blue neons underneath. Now, when I was driving down the road in that car, everyone stopped me. Sitting at the gas station, I got the Lambos up, the suicided out. The inside was all white leather with black piping, my initials across the back of the seats. It's an amazing vehicle, right? And it's mine. It's something I took the time to build. Without ever making those project lists, without ever gathering the tools, sometimes did I know what I was doing when I was tuning a carburetor the first time? Absolutely not. So I had to do what? Learn. I had to learn from someone who had done it. So as you guys move forward in this business, take the training seriously, something where that will be the foundation for you moving along in the business. Take the tools that we already have in place. The wheel's round, right? If you try to drive on a square wheel, wouldn't make sense, right? We talked in the beginning about career ingredients. I got a grandma that makes hands down the best chocolate chip cookies I've ever tasted in my life, right? My grandma can make those cookies and just do a pinch of this and a pinch of that and a pinch of that, and she ends up with great cookies. Grandma would never throw asparagus in chocolate chip cookies, right? Me, I need an exact recipe to follow. And I have an exact recipe that was here when I got here. It's something we made some changes here and there to be better suited for today's market in the security industry and the different opportunities that we have available. But there's career tracks for all of you guys and training tracks for all of you guys, and we'll kind of get you locked in and on those. We're going to talk some more about ADT as a whole, the reputable company. Founded in 1874. That's a long time. Most people think, well, how did you have burglar alarms in the 1800s? We didn't. We had fire alarms. ADT was a fire alarm company, American District Telegraph. Dispatched horse and buggy fire trucks to fires in Baltimore. So grown from there to the point now, over 5 million customers. It's actually 7 million now. These are dated slides from when we purchased Brinks. So an average household in America has how many people in it? What does it say? 3. Mom, dad, and a kid. Okay? So that's, with 7 million, that's 35 million people protected worldwide. That doesn't include the businesses. Okay? So you're looking at over 35 million people now protected worldwide as we gain that. It's actually a higher number. We can't put an exact number on there because of the amount of people we secure in skyscrapers in New York, the White House, Pentagon, larger places like that. So that means 1 in every 3 people on the face of the planet is protected by one of our alarms on a daily basis. That's some notoriety standing behind you. Okay? That's a whole lot more than Nike's running around in the world. All right, moving along. ADT protects nearly all the Fortune 500s, over 90% of them, multi-million-dollar contracts on multi-billion-dollar organizations. So when we talk about secure it now, does a Fortune 500 company pay us $40.99 a month to monitor their system? Absolutely not, guys. You're talking millions of dollars a year spent on security because it secures billions of dollars worth of investments for these companies. Anything from asset protection to flood protection. Major museums use us where there's devices on the back called asset protectors that if any piece of art moves left or right, even a millimeter, the alarm system goes off. Some pretty high-tech stuff that we have out there. And it's all, again, because of our monitoring and the growth in our industry. Last but not least, ADT is the largest security company in the world. Now, being the largest doesn't make you the best. Again, I said that before. But when you look at the difference between us and any other security company out there, even when Brinks was a major competitor of ours, if you take all the business that Brinks, and every other security company in the country does in a year, it doesn't equal what ADT does in a month. So just to give you an idea of what it is that we offer here. Do I make a difference, guys? I already talked about it. It's one of those things that you can be in a job where you don't know that you're making a difference in anybody's lives. I've had the opportunity to see these things work. I can tell you this. Although I got thanked a lot in the military, thank you for your service. It's kind of like you see somebody in uniform in the airport, oh, thank you for your service. Like, they don't understand what I did. They don't understand what I went through in Iraq. They don't understand that stuff. It's just a general blanketed thing. Now, when I get a call from somebody that I saved their life in a situation where somebody kicked in their back door, something where there was a home invasion and the ADT system worked, it's touching. And I've had those phone calls in my career early on where it's had that even exit entry alert. And I know somebody knows somebody who has a system and you hear the front door open, back door open, or a chime when they open. I've had situations where 3-year-olds, while their mom's cooking, have run out the front door to try to get the mail from the mailbox, standing on a busy street, Route 1, which is in downtown Fredericksburg, standing on a busy street, their 3-year-olds trying to get the mail, and if they hadn't heard back door open, seconds matter in emergency situations. So it's one of those things where I've had those calls too, where just basic little features of our systems have had the ability to save lives. So it's something where I do know I make a difference, not only in the lives of the clients that I deal with, but also in the people that I train on a daily basis. I can't tell you, a little bit different for me, probably more rewarding than anything, is when I take a 19-year-old guy that's stuck in a recession, working a dead-end job, and this is a specific one that kind of sticks out in my head, is a guy, Grant Hobbs. Works for me up in Fredericksburg. He's 21 now. Started with me when he was 19. He's a team facilitator. And I'll never forget about his 3rd week here when he ran up to me and he was like, Mr. Karlick, do we have a fax machine? And I was like, yeah, we have a fax machine. What do you need a fax machine for? He said, you know what I mean? You're selling alarms, dude. And he's like, I just got my paycheck, man. It's $2,000. That's a 6-day difference, right? And he was like, my mom's never made that in a month. And she told me I couldn't be successful in this business. So I want to make sure I fax it off to her. I was like, man, I made a difference there. Sounds good to me. And those stories go on and on and on, guys. I look at some of the people that work for us in our Fredericksburg office, which is our corporate office, and it's just unbelievable to see the differences in their lives that have been made in short periods of time. I mean, 6 years for me is kind of a big difference, even from where I was to where I'm at now. So, we're going to make sure that bad things don't happen to good people. And when anybody asks me what I do for a living, I'll always be a sales guy, even though I do something a little bit different now. And they'll say, Tom, what is it that you do for a living? And I'll say, well, I make sure bad things don't happen to good people. And usually they say, well, how do you do that? And my next question is always, well, let me come over to your house and I'll show you how I do it exactly. And generally I end up with a life protection system and understand what we're able to do for them. So it's one of those things where it's pretty gratifying to know that the bottom line, regardless of where I end up at in this business, that our company mission statement is to make sure bad things don't happen to good people through exceptional customer service and unmatched integrity. That's our mission statement here. So one of those things where you know that you work for a company that's never going to do anything to put the reputation of themselves or any of the representatives on the line. So advancement potential, one of those things we'll get back into. And as a resident security advisor, where your career goes is really going to be up to you. Those of you that kind of lay a foundation and get solid in the basics, focus on the fundamentals in the beginning, because 6 years later in this business, guys, when I'm in front of a customer, when I'm on the phone dealing with a high-pressure customer service issues, now some of the accounts that I deal with are, again, $70,000 to $85,000 alarm systems. The largest account that I ever did was 347 townhomes, wired each with a contract guaranteed on each one. Just to give you guys an idea on that, that paid my bills for about 3 years. It took me 4 hours to close. Okay, so for 3 years, as those houses built, every time somebody moved in, it was a contract signed, another 300. So you do the math. My base commission at that time, on top of my base salary, was $310 per contract. 310 times 300 houses. It's a lot of money, guys. So, in saying that, where you go is really going to be up to you. Income opportunity. I'm just going to skip over this. I know none of you guys came here for money, so we're just going to want to talk about money a little bit. I'm just messing with you. All right, we're going to protect you to pay. We're going to pay you to protect homes and families. That's on the sales side. Everybody's going to kind of learn the basics of the business through the next 3 to 4 weeks. Where we're waiting for your FDLE stuff to come back. In the basic sales operations, basic product knowledge, everything you're going to need to be successful wherever you end up at in the business. Moving along, let's talk a little bit about money. Ben, everybody know Ben? He's my boy. Me and Ben, we hang out sometimes, we cuddle together. Did I do that really? No, I just messing with you. So anyways, money did matter to me when I got here. Mainly because I had responsibilities, you know what I mean? And my idea of a 7-course meal when I got here, guys, was a 6-pack and a hot dog. That's been able to drastically change. I lived in, when I first got out of the military, I'm not kidding you, my apartment was smaller than this room. It's in downtown Fredericksburg. It's about half, like to right here and over. You came in, there was a little bathroom, like this tiny little, it was a shed actually. Well, I'm not kidding you, it's a big old shed. Still there in Fredericksburg. My friends kind of make fun of me now because I actually moved a couple blocks down the street in the historic district of Fredericksburg into a brownstone that was built in 1861. Historic platform in front. It's just kind of funny to see that growth. And they, man, you remember we called it the beach house, right? It was like this little beach shack, and it was remember when you lived in the beach house? I do, and I loved it then, and I'm going to buy that house one of these days as soon as I can. All right, kind of a startling fact when I got here, man. Did you know that less than 5% of working class individuals will ever reach the six-figure income bracket? When I saw that, and I remember when I was sitting in your seat, and Pat Sharkowski brought that up, it kind of made me get like butterflies in my stomach. It kind of made me say, well, I see where I want to go in life, and I've only got a 5% possibility of doing that. Now, when I think about that $100,000 range, who do I think of makes that? Let's take professional athletes out of it. Bill Gates. Bill Gates makes a lot more than that. Doctors, lawyers. Who else? Small business owners, right? Realtors, not anymore. They did about 5 years ago, but not anymore. In saying that, guys, this kind of comes back to that thought as I get out of the military. Believe me, I had a lot of different offers. My skills in the military are few and far between in what I did, so pretty much every other government agency, Blackwater, Dynacorp, Triple Canopy, every contracting agency that does the type of work that I do overseas sought me out to recruit me at anywhere between $90,000 and $210,000, depending on the contract a year. And I was just done going overseas. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick of worrying about what, whether or not, nobody shoots at you in this business. That's the greatest thing ever, right? But one of those things where I needed those changes, and I needed to know that I had the ability to make $100,000 a year without spending that 12 years in school. Now, I'm a three-time Iraqi veteran, one in Afghanistan. I can go to school pretty much for free anywhere I want, but it's one of those things I'm taking advantage of it now. I didn't have that time on my hands. I didn't have that extra, hey, let me figure this out the slow way. And when you do the math, if I would have went to school on a 4-year degree, okay, at 24 years old when I got out, I would have been 28 when I graduated with a bachelor's. Does anybody know what the average income in America today for someone graduating with a bachelor's is? It's about $35,000, okay? Now, $35,000 isn't bad money. Whether you know it or not, right now the median income, meaning what most people make in Brevard County, is $18,000 a year. I did some research just to kind of see where most people are sitting at. $18,000 a year. I don't even know how people can live, okay? But this six-figure thing, so I graduate, I'm 28. Now let's say I had to do a specialty degree. I'm looking at another 4 years, okay? Now that's for a master's. Now I'm looking at maybe more like $60,000, $70,000 to start. And then I have to do another 4 years if I wanted to get any kind of doctorate or specialty beyond that. Now I'm 12 years, and I'm a couple $100,000 in debt from education. And now I'm making $100 grand a year. Does that math add up to anybody? Didn't add up for me. Those of you guys that are real young, I got this get-rich-quick scheme with real estate and your Stafford loans. See me afterwards. I'm going to make you rich real quick. I wish I was young enough to do it. But anyways, I'm just messing. I'm actually not messing with you. But anyways, I'm looking for the right person to use my get-rich-quick if you can max out your Stafford loans your freshman year in college scheme. But anyways, guys, $100 grand a year. I've been fortunate enough to reach that level. And I reached that level 1 through sales, and then 2 by being able to train, pass things along. I was a call center operations manager, kind of redid our programs there, became a jack of many trades in this business. The more that I learned, the more what I became. Valuable. Okay? To the point where I had everything from every department stuffed into my head. Springer said to me yesterday, he said, can you do me a favor? Just insert a USB into your head and just run it to mine so I can learn everything. Springer's going to be our corporate training manager in this office. Because the reality is 6 years of information is a lot to try to take on. So, moving along, guys. Income you guys should be expecting in your first year. Weekly, about $600 to $1,000. And then you guys are saying, well, why the big difference? Because if I asked you whether you want to make $600 or you want to make $1,000, everyone would say what? $1,000. $1,000, right? Now, if I started saying, all right, awesome, you can all make $1,000, I just need you to work 6 days a week. Some of you guys would go, 700 is good for me. I'll take a day off, right? You'd be like, I can live on 700, right? That's good. And again, it's going to be about effort and where you end up at in the company through your effort, through your initial training, and then once we get FDLE back stuff, where you end up at from there. And a lot of times it is one of those things where I always say your mind's like a parachute. Keep your mind open. Keep trucking forward. Because I never in my life allowed where my success is at be dictated by the failures of others. Right? My parents, when I first came in this business, they were like, "You're going to do what? You're a Marine Corps Scout Sniper. You're going to go sell alarms? You're going to go do custom. You're going to be in a call center?" My dad was appalled. My dad was like, "What?" Right? We had a physical fist fight over it. He lost. But anyways, guys, in saying that, it was something where 35 to 45,000 is not a bad income. There's going to be some differences there, right? And that's going to be effort and put in there. When I got here, I saw this and I said, you know what? Just sign me up right here. I don't just sign me up to make the 100,000 a year and continue to go on there. But back to that kind of things. Don't ever let the culmination of the limitations that other people set upon you dictate where you're going to go in life. And I'll kind of, once I jump back into my trainer role and out of this GM role that I don't do anymore, I'll talk to you guys more about kind of learning things and my aspect on my point of view on how to learn things and where we get at in life. But my dad recently had his 50th birthday party. When I was 16 years old, I crashed his 1968 Mustang Fastback. I destroyed it. Now, do you think my dad's 50th birthday? He had a 1968 Fastback Mustang with a big bow on it, sitting in his driveway. My mother frequently visits my house in Jacksonville, North Carolina, Topsail Island, when she goes on vacation in the summertime. My dad frequently uses every timeshare that my 9-year-old daughter bought. Because believe me, I've never been sold by a salesperson, but my daughter looking at me going, "Daddy, I love this place. Never leaving. Just get the paperwork ready." When they travel across the country using the 4 timeshares my daughter had bought, do you think that they mind that I sell ADT alarm systems?
No.
Absolutely not. When Dad drives that fastback Mustang every weekend when he goes out, one of those things, he thinks, "Man, my son's successful." And it's one of those things that I pride myself in that a lot more than my abilities to go out and serve street tours in Iraq, even though I got a bunch of cool stuff on my walls at home because of it. So, moving along, guys. Who's going to decide that, where you end up at?
Me.
You do, and that's it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where, I'll get into more later, what gets between us and our dreams. Start thinking of answers to that question right now. All right. Bonuses, one of my favorite things. This is kind of just rounding out a comp package. Now, bonuses, some companies think things like 401k and insurance are bonuses. They are not here. Those are something that come with every position. Our 401k is full match up to 5% of your income. Our benefits are through United Healthcare, the amazing benefits package that's health and dental. I'm working on trying to get you guys vision right now. But anyways, daily we just do fun stuff. We'll even do some contests tomorrow and designs and role playing and stuff like that as you guys kind of move forward. Daily contests are usually going to be cash prizes, just stuff to keep you motivated through training as well as your careers here. So we get you kind of place where you're going to end up at. Weekly is going to be stuff generally like quotas. You'll hit like certain quotas and we'll give you guys good stuff. Monthly are usually the real fun ones. Depends on the time of year. Summertime we always do like a big luau theme and we do like the big gas grills. Christmas time we always do the electronics. You know, the PlayStation 3s have been big, the Xbox 360s. Push month, this month we've already given away like 4 or 5 of the new 42-inch LEDs, like the mini screens that are like this thin. Some different stuff like that. Just fun stuff. Quarterly is usually going to be a lot bigger to include promotions to the next level of income as well as promotions just in general into the company. Leadership roles. Okay. Quarterly also, we always do every year. We do a sell to sale, which is we do a quarterly to hit quotas and different things like that. Whether you're on the phones, in homes with businesses with customers. Sell to sale is a 7-day all expenses paid cruise. So we went to the Bahamas this past year. They make you the mistake and give you like the all-inclusive bracelet. They're like, "Tom, did you really need 4 shrimp cocktails at 3 a.m.? Nah, but you gave me I could get anything I want. Like, I'm going to take advantage of it." And Curtis is like, "What's going on?" And annually, I think our lowest annual bonus last year, they were real excited. There were people that were with us like a month or two. Christmas time, the lowest one was $450, and then our top clocking managers took home just between $10,000 to $12,000 year-end bonuses. So great stuff. You get a lot of excited people there. I already told you guys about the old Rolex. I'm still plugging for that. I'll probably never get to do it just because I'm not in the field out selling anymore. So I hope one of you guys do it. If you do, you're probably going to get beat up in the parking lot. It's going to get taken. Anyways, rewarded for achievement and hard work, guys. When I got here, we were small enough. Do you know the first contest that I ever participated in? It was for an ADT keychain. It was about this big, it was stainless steel. I still have the keychain. Actually, my daughter has it right now. But one of those things that little old me does not want to win necessarily because I get something really cool. Now, don't get me wrong, a Rolex would be nice. Sell to sale would be nice. My largest bonus I've ever had was right around $9 grand. That was always nice. But one of those things where when I win something, I get what? I get recognized, right? Now that same boss that runs around when you first start a job going, what are you doing? You don't even know what you're supposed to be doing, and he never taught you anything, is the same one that's not going to pat you on the back when you do something right, right? One of those things. I don't know about anybody else in this room, but I like to be recognized when I'm doing the right thing. I like a pat on the back. So one of those things where I'm out there busting my hump, even if it's for an ADT keychain, I'm going to do everything I can, because when I win something, I get up in front, I can say, this is how I got my success, and everybody's all happy in those things. Look, now, if little old me will do just about anything for an ADT keychain, you can't imagine when you put a 42-inch plasma in front of you what I'm willing to do to get. Right? You can't imagine when we start talking about Rolex watches what I'm out there trying to do to get the the business done. So one of those things, just continuing on. What can I win? We do all kind of things. Rolex watches, cruises for the ladies. I know once a year, it's usually around Valentine's Day. They do like the designer handbags. I'm not real into them. Like Louis, Dewey, Gucci. I don't know. We did a Jimmy Choo's thing once. So just some different stuff for those of you that are into those kind of things. I need fixed again. So I'm used to having like a real remote, not the mouse, guys. So just a lot of stuff. And again, I should recognize you for what you're doing for the company, right? Because we have a saying around here that personnel is policy, which means me and what I do without you means absolutely nothing. So again, anytime somebody says, Tom, you're doing a really great job, I always play it right back off onto the people that are underneath me, the training managers, the general sales managers, and especially the employees that are making things happen on a daily basis. Because without you guys, there is no reason for me to be around. So, moving along, guys, opportunity. First, one of those things, we've had 3 or 4 guys and gals that have gotten to a level in management where they've, grossed a whole lot of money, stacked some stuff away, and the owners of the company say, we really believe in opportunity around here. We don't have anywhere left to promote you. Would you like to open your own branch office? We'll back you financially with this amount up front, and you guys can open your whole own office, just like this one, where you're collecting revenue for the rest of your lives off owning, being a partner in the business. So, something for those of you that are looking at those kind of opportunities. I know there's some guys that are thinking, man, that'd be really nice to be able to sit back playing golf and owning a business while Tom's out running it for me. I'm pretty good at that. Okay, new career, guys. Well, I know the economy's down. I know some of you guys have been laid off, have done other things your whole lives, maybe moved into something different and then looking to come back in. It's one of those things where we do have a great opportunity to step in to a new career. Beginning of your first career, some of you guys are young, this might be your first real career. Life got jump-started, you need to get making some money. Things didn't work out at a different career. Great place to start. I wish I would have been here at 19 because I would be right up there with business ownership right now. I don't discredit my military career because it really made me who I am today. But one of those things that I do look forward to one day being the business owner. I talked to Kurt last night, Curtis Weinstein. He's the CEO of the company. He's in the Bahamas. It was like 11 o'clock. I was working on PowerPoint stuff and changing around, getting to where I went. And he goes, don't worry, man. The sand feels real good between my toes. Man, come on. Right? So anyways, making a positive change in your life and the life of your family, guys. I can't tell you, when I was the general sales manager of this specific office, the office was on fire, things were rocking and rolling. I'm looking for people to step in and do what I did here. And one of those things that making a positive change in your life and the life of your family is the coolest thing in the world. When at that point my daughter was 7 years old, and you're talking about a guy that came out of the military, chicken scratch pay, 30 to 40 a year if I was lucky, from overseas pay, right? Because you get tax-free and all that stuff. Looking at the most I ever made was about $38,000, $40,000 in the military. To the point where when I was down here as a general sales manager, at least twice a month, I would get a phone call from my 7-year-old little girl, and it would sound like this. They really want to come. Once they know you live in Florida, they want to come here. Why? Disney. Do you think my daughter ever calls and goes, Dad, can I come see the battlefields of Fredericksburg, Virginia? No, but this was a very common phone call for me when I was down here. I loved it. Twice a month, outside of the visits when I would fly up there to see her, I would hear this. Daddy, can I come to see you in Florida? Amara, you want to go to Disney? Yeah, that's why I called. And then be able to get on the phone with her mother and go, you know what? And as much as I hate that woman to death. Say, go ahead and use my credit card, put her on a plane. It's the coolest thing when you have a 7-year-old that's an unaccompanied minor. She feels like a princess. She gets put on the plane with her own, stewardess or whatever they call now, flight attendant. And then they walk them off the plane the first thing, and she's here. And even if it's only for a day, having the financial ability to make those decisions, regardless of where it's at, to see your child, I can't tell you the light that that brought into my life. And that was one of the biggest differences when I got here, that I had the ability to make those differences, not only for myself, but for the lives of my loved ones and the people around me. When I got here, Curtis Weinstein sat me down because they had kind of plans of where I was going to head to because of my background in the military. I taught formal schools instructors course my last year in, augmented officer candidate school, designing curriculum, doing curriculum development, so I had some teaching background. And when he sat me down and kind of talked about it, he said, what is your definition of success? And I said, I want to do anything I want, whenever I want, however I want, and I don't want anyone to question what I'm doing. And he said, you can achieve that, and I bet that your definition will change over time. And the only thing that's changed from that day to this day is I got to that level where I could do that, and I got bored. Got bored of it. So the only thing that's changed is that now I want to do anything I want, whenever I want, however I want, with whoever I want, and I want everyone else that I train and bring into this business to be able to do the exact same thing. So, moving along, guys. Requirements for success. First off, dress the part for me, okay? Make sure that when you come to work, whether you're going to be on a phone or you're going to be in front of a customer, your confidence exudes through your appearance. Make no mistake about it. So dress the part. If I were asking you to go be, any theater majors in here, people that really like the theater, did some acting in high school or anything like that. If you were studying for a part, because none of you guys know a whole lot about ADT or necessarily how to handle our customers, you learn the part, you study the script, you learn from the people that are doing what, that have done it. Character research. Make sure, I'm not saying you need to dress like this because I kind of dress up a little bit, but be casual, be comfortable, and be ready to work with our customers. All right. No criminal background. Now, if you guys have a criminal background, and I brought you in anyways, it's because it's something that I can work with FD Elite, whether it's, a couple of years back that they'll allow it to slide through, or it's something small enough that I can put through. If you're here, it's because I already feel that I can put you through the FD Elite process. All right? Drug-free. If you're out boozing it up all night, you come in smelling like booze, your eyes are bloodshot, like you just got done hanging out in Cheech and Chong's car, I'm probably going to ask you to leave. So just know that up front. Moving along. Maintain a positive attitude. I can't stress that enough, guys. Your attitude will determine your altitude in everything you do in life. I can look at things on the good side or the bad side. Either way, most of the time I can't change them, right? I have a very good friend of mine, Bill Davis. He always says, I'm a God man, so I hope I don't offend anybody. He always tells me you got two choices. You can worry or you can pray. You got no business doing both. So something I always pop in there is that positive attitude exudes through me, and it's kind of contagious. Just like negativity is. Misery loves what? Company. If misery is like a cancer, I'll cut it right out. Gone. Right? So, be on time. I can't stress that enough when it comes to this business. Any customer-related business, punctuality is everything. Okay? All right. Moving along. Remember that if you got to study for a drug test, you're in the wrong place. You need to come to you and say, I need time. I need 2 weeks to take this test. Nope, not going to work for me. All right? And if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up for right now with that. I've had you here for about an hour and a half. I want you to take a 10-minute break. Pee, if you're going to smoke, do it straight through that door and out in the back of the building. Coffee donuts are still out there. Please eat them. We paid for them. I do not want to throw them away.
Like I said, I'll take them to my 15-year-old son.
There you go.
I'll take them to work. My mom will eat them.
All right. So, you guys take a 10-minute break, and I'll see you back here in 10, and we'll get kind of rocking and rolling in a different direction.